There is a list of things ancient Egyptians used natron for, like
mummification,
washing, mummification, drying food, medical treatment, whatever, a lot of reasons. I don't think they carved the statues with molten natron. I think they carved the granite to create waterglass to cast a statue. You hear this nonsense that granite is indestructible and the Mach scale, and you do a half an hour experiment and granite just falls apart.
So the mainstream explanation is
ridiculous.
Metal smelting.
Metal smelting. But if you go in the back, look in the background, there is this pile of whitish whatever in the same picture.
Here, yeah.
I think it can be either the end product, so water glass contaminated with coal, or the ingredients of this smelting, natron plus charcoal.
So your theory that they use some kind of a mold and they made these precise statues with this technique, with the water glass, using some ash.
Yeah. And as you can see,
it in a mold.
The color is different depending on the ash, and the qualities are different. And there is a strange pine tree called stone pine, and it's in the Mediterranean. I don't think you need a mold because it hardens so fast. You don't need it. If you watch closely the stones in Peru, you can see that they use some kind of wooden boards just to keep the material for a few minutes and remove the boards, and that's it. No mold.
So, we are here in Budapest, Hungary, and this is a new studio. It's a rented studio. That's why the background and everything has changed. And I'm here with Marcell Fóti. I met with your work on X or Twitter, and I really wanted to talk about this granite melting and etching, which is basically the focus of your work.
Mm-hmm.
And your website is
NatronTheory.com.
NatronTheory.com, yeah. So I walked through on that website, and it was quite interesting how you can explain the scoop marks in Egypt, for example. And maybe we should walk through your website, and you can explain. First, I really would like to know who are you and why you started this investigation, and how this entire journey started.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. And how to start? Okay, so this whole story started a year ago. No, it started before COVID, because I used to be an IT guy, and I had an IT company which I sold in 2020. And then I had a lot of free time and resources to go around the globe and traveling. And then COVID hit, and the lockdowns followed, and basically I couldn't travel, obviously. So I started to travel online, and this is the way I run into these Mythbuster guys like Ben with Uncharted X and Jeffrey Drum with what was the name of this?
Land of Cam.
Land of Cam, yeah. And after a while, I thought I could do something. I cannot travel, but I can do the same as Jeff did, to select a mystery and solve it. Solve the mystery by sitting at home and clicking, and why not? And I selected the scoop marks basically randomly. It was just a nice mystery to solve with an official explanation, which is totally stupid. It's out of this world. It's so.
You're referring to the pounding stone
The pound,
technique.
yeah. If you think about it, the official explanation is that you are pounding the bottom of the depressions instead of hitting the ridges and poof, create much more impact. So hitting the bottom of these pits is just stupid.
I was there and I tried to use this pounding stone in the quarry, and you don't have enough space to speed up the stone. I mean, you can imagine 100 people doing the same next to each other, but you don't have enough space to move that stone with the right force, with the right speed. So it's just funny. And if I'm not mistaken, a few years back, before you entered the quarry, you had to watch kind of a propaganda video about how it should
I heard
be done.
That. Yeah.
It's funny.
Imprinting. Okay, so I choose this one, and I have a good friend who is as crazy as me. And first of all, I checked how granite is, how modern people working with granite, what tools they are using to cut granite, just to cut it in half or something. And I was shocked that they are using plain water, no abrasive, nothing, just water jet, tap water. And I thought that tap water. So, can I build a machine to reach that pressure that we can reach in the 21st century? Can I build that machine with caveman tools only to have this? I can't remember very well, 1,000 bar or something, and just use the water jet to create the scoop marks.
Yeah.
And I asked one of my friends to help me to create this huge flintstone machine from wood and stones and leather and copper, I don't know. And he's crazy, but he was smart enough to tell me that he would help me to create this machine only if I watch this video where somebody is telling that how was it? He knew the secret of the pyramid stones, and that the pyramid stones are artificial. So if I look that video and I still want to build this giant machine, then we will build this giant machine. And we watched that video, and the guy did the impossible. He thought that he has this piece of stone from the Great Pyramid, and he put it in a bowl of boiling water, and the pyramid stone just fall apart. And we were just sitting there.
It was a limestone block, right?
Limestone, yeah, that's limestone. And this is a Hungarian YouTuber, by the way, that you can check him.
Really?
Yeah. And we were just sitting there and thought that this is something next level if it's true. And the other thing I turned into chemicals is that reaching this high pressure with water requires a 1,000-meter high column of water or something like this. So it's close to impossible. And these two let me switch to chemicals, which I knew nothing about. Because as I told you, I used to be an IT guy, so basically nothing. Just I knew what titration means because I make wine at home. I'm a secret winemaker, but that's it, nothing else.
That's cool. And sorry, what field of IT were you in? What did you do?
Training basically. I had an IT training company. Okay, left this Flintstone machine behind, and let's try with chemicals. But we all know that most of the chemicals cannot do any harm to granite. Most of the acids, most of the alkali, it's futile to try. You don't try it because it's so hard as all these guys telling on YouTube. It's 8 on the Mach scale or something.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's indestructible.
It's not indestructible, but it's quite hard compared to the limestone and
Yeah,
the sandstone
yeah.
and these.
But there is this myth that you cannot do anything with it with chemicals. I started to investigate the composition of granite. It's not a single material, it's a composite. And I found out that the glue, the bonding, so the glue of granite is quartz.
Yeah.
And then I started to investigate how to decompose quartz. And this was that led me to Natron. I found it online that molten natron will dissolve quartz, which basically means molten natron dissolves any kind of volcanic stones because all of them has the same glue, it's quartz, SiO2. And I tried to do it I tried to etch a piece of granite at home. And I was very, very lucky because my very first try was successful. What I did is I put some charcoal in a grill chimney. You know this stuff,
yeah.
When you light the charcoal. On the bottom, I put a tin can in it. I put the piece of granite and some spoons of natron into the tin can. Put the rest of the charcoal around it, light it up, let it burn down. And when I opened the tin can, the piece of granite was badly edged. First try, this.
Where do you get the natron from?
Oh, it's in the first batch was from my wife. She had some amount of natron because of some washing project or something. I don't know.
So it's freely available in any pharmacy? Basically.
Yeah.
You don't even need a pharmacy, maybe even in a...
No, it's in the hardware shops because the next batch, a big box of natron I bought in a hardware store. Mm-hmm. So it's freely available. It's cheap. So, and being successful for the first try is a curse because I wasn't able to recreate these scoop marks ever since. So it works in theory, it works in vitro, it works in a grill chimney, but I couldn't...
You couldn't scale it up yet.
Yeah, still. Yeah. Because of stupid mistakes. I knew a lot of stupid mistakes. Because of the thinking of the modern man. One problem is that the natron we buy is not, chemical is the same that you find in Egypt, but basically it's a fine powder. So if you use a compressor to heat up the charcoal, you just blow away the natron and you are heating up the big nothing. Mm-hmm. This kind of stupid thing. So I'm sure I will be able to create a successful scoop mark by following the old recipe, the old formula, which was found some member of this community, because there is a mural called Tomb of Rickmeyer. And in that mural, there is a clear description how to do it.
Maybe we should walk through your webpage. Maybe it's easier.
Yes, yeah, it's there. There is a list of things ancient Egyptians used natron for, like
Mummification.
washing, mummification, drying food, medical treatment, whatever, a lot of reasons.
So it was a widely known chemical resource in Egypt.
And abundant, yes. Yeah.
So modern day archaeologists know about this. So it's a well-known thing that they use natron, or it's a kind of a not very noticed compound.
Good question. I don't know. I think they neglect it. So
It's neglected.
Yeah. So it's not important. It was used. Yeah, not important. Next question. So basically, they know the role of natron, but they don't think it's so important than it is. And this is where I insist on trying natron in every form. I'm sure they tried it with water, without, with fire, without, in every combination, what this material can do. Why not? And there's a proof they did it. If you go down just a little bit, these glass beads are the proof that they tried natron heat in heated form, because glass is nothing else than natron plus limestone plus sand. That's it.
Is that possible to use purely sand for glass?
To create glass? Oh, I don't. Yeah, I think you need a much higher temperature to do that. So if you add natron to the mix, the temperature can go down to this 851 degrees Celsius, and
I see.
And
so it's lowering the melting point of the mix.
Right. Yeah. And basically, if they created glass beads, then they heated up natron to the 851 degrees Celsius for sure. It's not a question.
But is it proven that they used the natron for glass, or it's just a theory? Because if it's not proven, that it's kind of a weak point.
Right, but this kind of glass is called natron glass.
Okay. I didn't know that. I was just asking because I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to check it on Wikipedia what natron glass is. Basically, every window glass is natron glass. So even today, we are using a lot of natron to create window glass.
Should we go further?
Yeah. Next one. This is the explanation of glass. Okay. And it's a joke. Yeah.
So you are kind of representing your idea with this domino style. So you think that a lot of so this is kind of house of cards where we can just prove that it's possible to melt and to change the mechanical properties of granite with this technique, and then a lot of mystery and conspiracy thing will fall apart? Or
I hope so.
That's why you're representing this like a domino.
The first. And the second is that this is so wide now, and I didn't want newcomers to get lost. It's like an IKEA. There is a one way to go, and you cannot go here and there and back and forth and tell that it's ridiculous, it's not true. You have to go through the main points before judging. That's why it's created this way, with this domino style. Yeah.
So here you are representing that there are some acids like hydrofluoric acid, which can etch the granite.
Yes.
But it's quite dangerous and very hard to maintain.
Yeah. They keep it in a plastic bottle, but I don't think ancient Egyptians had plastic bottles, so you cannot store it in metal containers. You cannot store it in a vase or in a glass container. It's a room temperature liquid, and it's a challenge to even store it. And the next problem is that if you touch it, you can basically die, because it somehow creates a short circuit in your body or something, and it can cause heart attack even if you just touch it. So it's terrible.
Okay, weird.
Hey, that's weird. Yeah. But I ran into it when I was at the university doing mass spectrometry analysis of my pyramid stone, and they decomposed this piece of stone with this hydrofluoric acid. So it's in use in the 21st century, but not in the past, no. And then here comes Natron. These are the properties. It's a white powder, blah, blah, blah. What is important, that ancient Egyptians had immense amount of Natron.
From where?
From Wadi el Natron. The name of the village is still the same. And this is the name, Wadi el Natron, where the name from natrium or sodium is coming. And this village is near Cairo in the desert. And this used to be a salty lake. And when it dried out, it left natron on the surface in quantities. So it's a lot.
And how can you get it out from this solution? Because if there's a lake still inside, it's kind of a solution of some.
But when the lake dries out, it's not a solution anymore. It's precipitated on the around the lake.
Yeah, but in the Egyptian times, probably it was a lake still. And also in your tomb chapel depiction of how they creating these scoop marks, we will see that they are kind of using or pouring out some water or collecting some water from the lake or something. It's on the depiction.
Yeah.
There's a lake and trees all around.
Right, but it's in a different level. There are levels on this mural, and this lake and the guy doing something with the water is in a different cartoon.
Okay, so it's not connected to the Natron.
I don't
collection?
know. I don't know. If we try to read this as a cartoon, then you have to jump back and forth. I don't know. That can be I don't know. Honestly, we'll check it.
Because how can they get out the natron from the lake? Or I mean, probably it's kind of they couldn't mine it, right? So it was not possible to mine. It was just remained on the dried out lake side.
But it happens every summer. So if we can go to the map, I can show you why Hungary is a natron empire.
So Hungary has big natron sources or resources?
Still used to have, and I can show you these salt lakes near Kecskemét.
In Hungary?
In Hungary, yeah. These are the salty lakes here. So you can turn the satellites, and zoom in again, somewhere here. This is a series of natron lakes. Go in, zoom in, zoom. And this is how natron looks like in summertime when the lake, no, up. This is not the white one. This. It's actually it's precipitating. Yeah, that's it. You see. So how do you collect it? By hand, and that's it.
When there is no more water there.
It's summertime, basically. It's a seasonal thing that these lakes produce natron.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that if they used natron for all these things which they built with granite, then they must have a very, very huge amount
Yeah.
of
Endless amount is good enough. But these sites do have endless amount of natron. It can be quite thick, and there are several lakes, as you can see here.
Have you ever made any kind of calculation how much natron would you need for one scoop mark?
I don't know. No, not really, but having these lakes, I don't think it's a problem. It shouldn't be a problem even today.
Okay.
And this is Hungary, and this is not Vadi and natron. This is a lake, a series of lakes nobody knows about. It's not a high yield natron producing site. It's just interesting.
So let's go back to the website. So yes, we have the natron.
Yeah, and this is my very first trial to etch the granite, and I was quite surprised. It was so easy, so out of this world. You hear this nonsense that granite is indestructible and the Mach scale and the blah, 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 and you do a half an hour experiment and granite just falls apart. It was very surprising.
Yeah, I think the Mohs scale is important for this aspect, just to get an idea how hard is it to work with.
Yeah, right. I didn't say that Mach is not precise. It's very valuable, but in a sense, it's irrelevant when you etch the stone. Who cares? You just decompose the chemical bonds, and it's not on the Mach scale anymore because it's not granite anymore.
But the color of it, actually, it's quite different from those which you can see in Aswan.
Which one? The etched part?
Yes, the edge part is
Yeah, but the grains are reddish because I have the grains from this. So I'm not sure why is it so gray here. The grains has a yellow, reddish color. The removed part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks strange.
Okay, so etching is possible. We can change the physical
By the way,
properties.
if you go up,
Yes.
this is the very same red granite up there. Yeah, the blue one, and you see this etching is blue. This is the very same stone, but
with
bigger
hydrofluoric acid.
No. It's natron. It's natron.
It's also
It
natron.
was etched in a kiln, not in my grill chimney, but I bring it to a ceramist and put it in his big kiln, doing the same, and as you can see, it turned blue.
And all of your how many times did you make these etching on the granite?
Weekly. So
It's your weekend project.
yeah, it's a weekend project.
And
Every
every time
yeah.
it's this colorless.
Mine? No, it's not like this. It's the soft part has been removed on this one, so it's not like it. It looks like it was edged.
Mm-hmm.
It's there is a yellowish, half hard foam on it, and this is when the foam was removed, and that foam is the water glass we are producing. And
We
that
will get
foam,
back to that one.
yeah, all right, okay.
But
So it's the clean. I cleaned it with a toothbrush, and then after cleaning, it looks like this.
okay. Because the Aswan quarry is what I have seen there. It's nothing like this in terms of the color.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. You can give some thousands of years for the weather to remove this layer. This is soft again, and you will get to the green part easily.
The red part.
Oh, the red part, yeah.
Green part would be very interesting.
Sorry. Yeah.
And So you're saying that after this etching, you can basically modify, carve it, cut it easily, more easily.
Hit it with a pounding stone, and it's reasonable to hit it with a pounding stone because you have the semi-hard water glass on the surface. You have to crush out, and it will be crushed. There is a layer of water glass on this and in the pit, and to remove the water glass, it's highly reasonable to hit it with a direct stone and to hit the bottom of the pit because the water glass is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit deceiving. Water glass can be a solution, but in this case, it's a hard substance after etching. It's not a liquid. And this is when I pour some molten natron onto the surface of the granite, and it will not etch the granite because the heat drops so drastically that there is no chance that it could etch this way.
So you have to maintain the heat.
Yes.
For how long, approximately, or how could, if it's not working like this?
No, it's not working.
Then how could the old people do it?
Okay, it's on the mural. So if you put charcoal on the surface of the granite and natron on the surface of the granite,
and you are maintaining the fire
with food bellows, and you give extra air, because if you use air, charcoal can go up to 1,200 degrees Celsius easily.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
Yeah, I did that experiment. It's quite with the compressor. But
sure.
Yes.
I just posted it today that the main problem with the compressor that it will blow away the natron from the surface. So you are watching the big nothing. What happened?
But the bellows won't blow it away?
I mean, no, not the ancient one. The ancient one is not this fine powder. It's from
Grains.
pieces. Yeah, and yeah, as it precipitates, it's how to say, it's small pieces. And
Grains, or fractions, or
pieces.
It's funny that two Hungarian guys are talking in English
and trying to guess the word.
Okay, so you have the molten natron, and you can etch the granite, and you think they used it for the statues and other volcanic rocks as well, to formulate and to carve and
okay, this etching process is not precious. You cannot tell natron where to go. So I don't think they carved the statues with molten natron. I think they carved the granite to create water glass to cast a statue. Okay, because if you try to tell natron where to go, you will fail because it will go wherever it wants. So, no.
I meant softening the volcanic rock types for the statues, and then just carve the statues.
It's not softening. It's not soft. It's not the same stone anymore. It's softer, but it's not the same stone anymore. Mm-hmm. There is a chemical reaction going down, and the end result is not the volcanic rock anymore. You are just removing the binder, and you will end up with a lot of grains. So it's not the magical softening the stone and hardening back. No, it's not. It's decomposing the stone.
I see.
Right. And here we are with the scoop marks. By the way, I've never been in Egypt, but can you see in the first picture the slight color difference of the unfinished obelisk? It's a kind of grayish compared to the surrounding stones. So how can it be the same stone if it has this different color? From a certain angle, if you are on the surface, you cannot see this, but
Yeah, I couldn't see this on the surface.
Yeah, but from a drone, this is what you can see. There is a certain angle and a certain light, sunlight. I don't know how to express. So it's not visible all the time, but there is a lucky period when you can see that it has a different color.
In different light conditions, it gives you a different color or a colored picture or something.
All right, but if you just look at the side of the obelisk and the side of the pit, they say that this is the same material, but the one is grayish, the other one is yellowish. How is it possible? How is it possible?
It doesn't have to be the same. I mean, it's the bedrock probably there. It doesn't have to be the same color in every aspect. So the granite is also changing its color through different layers. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very strange.
But I couldn't see that grayish part which you had after the etching. I couldn't see.
I don't think it's a problem because so many years went by. So erosion could easily remove that gray part, and you will end up with the original stone.
And what kind of surface pattern or texture would you expect after this grayish edged part is removed by erosion?
Scoop marks.
But what kind of you could see still the crystal parts of the granite, or
right after etching?
Yes, I mean after you remove the eroded
part?
Etched part.
How does it look?
How does it look like? Yeah, it's like normal granite.
No, you can clearly see something has happened. You cannot remove all the decomposed material with a magic wand, so you can see that it's damaged.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this damaged part will be there after several millennia. So at the end you will end up with basically the untouched granite at the bottom of the scoop marks as well.
What I did see in Aswan, that was also interesting, that some parts of the quarry had flexible layers of granite. So you could walk on the stone, and you could basically rip off some thicker layers of the quarry, basically.
I think it's heat. It's just simple heat. Heating granite will remove layers, even in my experiments. So, yeah, when I tried to heat up a granite slab to 1,000 degrees, huge parts of the granite was liberated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can also see for example, on the Giza plateau, in the Valley Temple, in front of the pyramids, next to the Sphinx, that basically they use some kind of granite blocks where you can see that the outer layer is eroded much differently. It's like when a snake is removing its skin or something like that. So the outer layer of the granite
different and
is changed, but in a different way. It's like crumbling or something. Obviously, not two granite are the same, and different kind of erosions could happen and all this stuff. But it's interesting. Would you think that it's kind of a byproduct of this technology?
When you are ready with the etching and you produce some water glass, the next step is use that water glass and to cast stone. And casting is prone to the mixing procedure you use. So these kind of layered and here and there eroded granite slabs or statues can be explained with casting. Because if you do a bad mix, that will result in a bad stone. It's that easy. So you are mixing. Some mix is okay, next one is no, because the workers were drunk or I don't know, whatever. And you are just mixing different quality artificial granite.
Mm. Yeah, we will come back to the casting, but it's just interesting to see that those kind of granite blocks had a very weird erosion on their outer layer. Okay, so you said you couldn't reproduce the scoop marks yet.
Yeah, but I will, because everything it's working in vitro, to say something scientific. So there is a scientific proof it's working. And I can heat up the granite slab in open air to 1,100 degrees, no problem. And then this is a fresh realization that the modern day natron powder is just too light. If you use a compressor, it will just flow away and you are etching with nothing. And this realization is a week old or 2 weeks old. So, because whenever I fail, I don't give up. But my mind starts searching for explanations, and after a while, let's try this. And I think it's a valid one, that if you have this fine powder and you blow it, it will go away and it's not there to do the work. And when you put it in a tin can, it's a different experiment. There is no moving air. There is nothing that could ruin the experiment. But when you go to the quarry and try to do it open air, all the conditions are different. But there is no such thing that something that works in vitro, okay, will not work outside in the quarry. Why it wouldn't? The same granite, now it's not the same natron because mine is too fine. The same heat, it will be working. It's just a lot of experiment and try and failure.
How do you want to make it work?
Easy. I just created bigger grains of natron already. Actually, I created a big one like this, like a soap. And I told the compressor, blow this in compressor. So it will be done. It's just a question of time and experimenting. But if you remove the natron from the lake, from where it precipitates naturally, you will have this piece of natron. It's not a powder, and I think it's not a question that you put the charcoal, give it the air, and it will etch the granite.
But I would love to see that part after you remove these, the surface, the granite surface after you remove the etched layer.
Crush by using a pounding stone, because I always use water. No, whatever that's there. The whatever is this when I washed it down.
But you cannot remove more of these.
With a toothbrush, no. I use the toothbrush, remember?
Because it's just the color is just so different. And okay, we can go on and we can come back to this part. So here you are representing that it can be.
Yeah, there is the water glass on it.
There's the yellowish.
This is the yellow. This time it's yellowish. It depends on the volcanic stone ingredients. So it basically in this case it's a yellowish thing, and it's easy to crush with your fingers. And if you use a direct pounding stone, it's even more easy.
And if you crush that, you get the pure granite again with the same rose color?
Good question. I washed it down. I didn't do that. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't recall when I just crushed it and looked at what it looks like because I don't know why. It was easier to wash it down. But in Egypt, okay, it can be a modern day problem. It was so easy to wash it down that I washed it down. But if you are in the desert, you have no water, you crush it. You don't even try to wash it with a lot of water because you don't have a lot of water. But I admit I never tried to just crush it. I put it in water and washed it down with it.
And you are confident that the erosion could remove this grayish layer?
Yeah, because,
we can see
the hardest tool I used was a toothbrush, remember?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So basically you proved that it can be, with ancient tools, you can chemically modify granite and you can work it.
Chemically decompose. That's a better word.
And here we can see this method
here, yeah.
of the accumulated chamber.
Yes, yeah. And this is the lake you were talking about. Yeah,
that was the lake I was.
And the guys etching the floor above this lake.
Yeah,
and there is a line there, so it's a different phase.
So here we can see that, according to you, probably it's the etching process where they are.
Yeah.
Etching the granite.
Yeah, on the left there are two guys hitting the floor, and the official explanation that they are smelting metal, copper or something. Mm-hmm. If you go a little bit down, just a few centimeters, few inches, sorry. Yeah, you can see the two guys using food bellows with strings because they didn't invent the iron yet, so they didn't have the springs to push it back, so they are just using the string. And they heating the metal on the floor, which is at least questionable.
Which is white.
No, I think the bluish thing is the metal. I don't know, but
I mean, if it's white, then it's quite similar to the natron.
Yeah, it looks like natron anyway. But imagine this: you are melting the copper on the floor.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And then what? so basically, you end up with a puddle of copper, and then what? So I don't think it's reasonable. But if they are heating the floor,
yeah, so it's quite funny that it's so the mainstream explanation is
ridiculous.
Metal smelting.
Metal smelting. But if you go in the back, look in the background, there is this pile of whitish whatever in the same picture.
Here, yeah.
In the background, yeah, and the black one. I think it can be either the end product, so water glass contaminated with coal, or the ingredients of this smelting natron plus charcoal. One of the two. And then when they etch the granite on the floor, we can go back to the bigger up there. They also use some kind of boiling process or something, and one of the guys on X told us that they are cleaning the water glass. Can you see those small vases, and they are pouring something into those vases?
Yeah, on some slab.
Well, yeah,
on a
something
bigger rectangular something. Yeah.
And I tried, as I told you, I washed down the water glass because I don't know if this was my idea to wash it down, and I left it in plastic containers, and after a while, there are some natron that is hasn't been used, and this natron precipitates on the top because natron does the same all the time even it's a salty lake or this material, it will go up to the top and precipitates. And yes, using these vases, you can remove that part of natron that could be remain intact because of the heating was not perfect or something. So those guys are cleaning the water glass. Probably.
So this is the collection of the water glass with the vases also?
Yeah, this is water glass in a solution. It's liquid now. They washed it down. They crushed it from, I don't know where. The crushing phase is not here. It's sad, but they crushed it and they dissolved it in water, and they poured this water glass solution into the vases and wait a few days for the rest of the natron to come up and precipitate.
So it's not a fast reaction.
Which one?
Or when you have the water glass coming out of the granite, basically.
The hard, dry water glass. It goes into it can be fast. We are waiting for the natron to go on the top because natron is not needed. It's just it's not activated. So you use some amount of natron for the etching. And what if some of the natron do not etch the stone?
So
then
the excess natron
let's call it excess natron.
flow up.
Yeah, and it will, because it's a solution by then, it will go on the top and precipitates.
So it will look like natron, water glass.
Nothing.
Granite
Granite grains. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my interpretation was that they are using or heating up the natron there with the bellows.
Yes.
And then they are the two guys are holding with probably some rods or some handles, I don't know, some wood or whatever. They are holding these something in the middle which is probably heated up. And then they are pouring. My interpretation was that they are pouring the melted natron on this block into the vases somehow, and then they are collecting the water glass, which was
the water glass is created in step 1. When you heat up the floor and the natron reaches 851 degrees, like Back to the Future when the speed hits 88 miles. So it was a joke. When you heat it up to 851 degrees, it will do its work in the first phase and etches the floor, actually the floor.
But how can you be so sure that it's a granite floor? I couldn't see any granite. Okay, they are smelting something, but the very important part, that what they are using for this, it's not depicted on the picture. I couldn't see the obelisk or the granite or whatever.
Obelisk?
So here there is only something on the floor, but this is supposed to happen on the granite itself, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a very tiny slab of granite. They are not depicting bigger stones. Blocks.
I had no problem that they are not standing on a hill, because what they are using, they are etching the surface, and for me that line is a surface. I had no problem with this to depict I see. So you needed that huge block there to be a huge block. Okay.
So that's why I thought that block there is the granite, and they are putting these vases on it.
No, it's not working. No, because whatever they are pouring it in here, it's not hot enough. If they can pour it, it's not hot enough. Easy. You've seen my molten natron pouring onto the granite slab and nothing happens, because of the heat is escaping so fast. No, you need this amber and charcoal. What's that? heap of amber and heap of charcoal to heat up the surface of the granite. On the other side, these guys with the vases, no, it's not working.
When I saw your molten Natron experiment where you poured it on the granite, I thought it's the same here.
But it's not working.
Because the heat is dissipating.
Yeah.
Okay.
It only works when the molten natron finds the CO2 silicon dioxide right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a strange chemical reaction, because at the end of the day, we didn't talk about the chemical composition of natron. It's Na2CO3, and water glass is Na2SeO3. So the coal was replaced with silicon, and that's the reaction. And it has to be done immediately. When natron gets this heat and melted, it will look for this replacement silicon and grab it out from everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, food bellows, yeah.
And you think that these are the same witness marks on the Olain-Tatambo,
I think those are scoop marks.
Stonehenge, and all these sites.
Yes.
What are these, granite?
It doesn't matter. If it's limestone, that's a different story. But until it's volcanic, it's
rock
okay.
Containing silicon.
As a binder, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what's the next domino?
What's the next domino? And we are here casting with the geopolymers.
We are here with the result, basically the byproduct of this process.
Yeah.
Right?
The waste product, which is not waste at all, but the main ingredient of geopolymers.
And you discovered this first, or immediately after doing this etching experiment, that this can be used for something which left off?
Yeah, that was when I realized that the end result is this water glass, I was in shock, because I knew something about geopolymers. This is the concrete without Portland cement. This is the concrete of the future. This is the concrete of the universe, because you cannot build anything on the surface of the moon or on the surface of the Mars if you need Portland cement, which needs limestone, which needs life, which needs oceans. It's impossible. And bringing Portland cement to the Mars is just stupid. But geopolymer is kind of a concrete that can be created locally with local materials. And when I realized that the end of the etching process is water glass, I was in shock, because I knew it's for stone making. We know it's for stone making.
Nowadays,
yeah.
But we have no proof that they used it also in antiquity.
If you are looking for a proof, you have to change the stone analysis science altogether. How can you tell that the stone is artificial? And if you look the analysis tools one by one, all of them are. It's hard. It's a strong word to say it's useless, but close to useless. For example, I brought my pyramid stone into the university for mass spectrometry, and at that point, I learned that mass spectrometry cannot see some materials. Only the most important ones cannot be seen in the results of the mass spectrometry, like hydrogen, oxygen, coal, silicium or silica. These tools cannot see that. And there is a handheld device which you can use, for example, in Egypt, you go to a granite statue and you push it, this handheld device. It's called XRF, X-ray, I don't know the F, but fluorescence. X-ray fluorescence.
So it's fluorescence dating, basically.
And now it's not dating, telling what's the composition of the stone
Okay.
to tell
Okay.
if it's artificial or not. And this tool is like mass spectrometry. It just cannot see hydrogen, oxygen, coal, silica. So you have these analysis tools. You cannot see the most important atoms of this stone. It's a long story. It's a different podcast. But anyway,
you cannot decide with modern photo or mass spectrometry.
Yeah, actually, they have to use an assumption. They call it a calibration. They calibrate the tool to tell them what's in the material. You have to pre-decide what you will see, because it's half blind. So if you pre-decide that your stone is natural and you use this tool calibrated for a natural stone, it will tell you it's natural. And if you don't have a calibration for artificial stones, as you don't have, you will never have a result that it's artificial.
Have you talked about this with geologists?
Yes, yeah.
And what were they?
I have a geologist friend, and he told me that they don't use this modern chili-willy stuff at all. They use, bloody old technology to define what a stone is, like hammering it and measuring it and boiling it and measuring how much water gets in and evaporating. There is always water in these stones. It's just the amount of water that can be very small and different. So they use kind of caveman analysis tools, no, not tools at all, to tell what's in a stone, because the 21st century analysis tools are half blind.
So where this water glass led you? To the geopolymers?
Yeah. I knew already that
It
people,
can be.
it's 3D printing a house with geopolymer. I think it's stupid to 3D, but anyway, they are using it with a giant 3D printer to print homes. And actually, what's really interesting, that this water glass will crystallize everything. If you go up just a little bit, there is here we are, this colorful picture. In elementary school, we had a chemistry teacher showing this phenomenon, that he pours some metal oxides and other materials into a water glass liquid, and it doesn't matter what he was pouring in, it crystallized like these random trees. So water glass is a strange material, crystallizing everything. But if you give it aluminum or aluminum oxide, it will crystallize it to a hard stone. And that was the point I was thinking about. What ancient material can have aluminum oxide in it to create a stone? Because these modern days geopolymers are created with a modern day material, water glass plus so-called metakaolin. And okay, I found metakaolin in Egypt. It's another story. But first, I tried to replace this metakaolin thing to something ancient and still create a stone with water glass. So you have a lot of water glass after the etching process, and you are there as a caveman or an ancient Egyptians and looking at it and try to mix it with some things. I guess why not? How to discover glass? Try to mix something, mix things. So you have this water glass thing, and you mix it with this and that and this and that, and oops, one of your mix will turn into a stone. What can it be? And I didn't know what's in a wood ash. Who knows? Nobody knows. It's dirt. It's just a gray dirt, wood ash. But it turned out that it's different for every plant, first of all, and it contains metal oxides, a lot of, and different. And by the way, I have these samples here. These are my cast stones, and the color difference is only because I use different kind of wood ash. This one is tuya. I don't know it's in English, but I think it's tuya. Tuya is tuya. And it's quite white. It's almost like limestone, but it's not. It's a geopolymer. Tuya is tuya, yeah. This one I can't remember exactly, but I think it's redwood. And the last one is, I think this is the Norway spruce. So these are all kind of pine trees, pine trees, because now when I tried to cast a stone, I failed miserably for months because I didn't know which kind of plants has aluminum in it. And I asked the biologist to tell me which plant has aluminum, because I knew that we need aluminum oxide to create a stone. Which wood ash had aluminum? And he told me explicitly that none of these, because aluminum is a poison for plants. So they try to avoid to pick it up from the ground. And when a biologist tells you this, every sane person will stop with the experimenting, but I'm not sane. So I went because it's a strange story. I had this information that no plant is picking up aluminum, and from the other side, I had an information that how to say this, when they cut the pine trees to create building material. It's a sawmill or something like this. I don't know the code. Yeah. They had a problem with pine trees because of
the blade.
Because the aluminum content is eating the blade. So you have two equal facts. Fact one: no plant will pick up aluminum, and fact two: pine trees are eating the blade because of the aluminum. So I didn't stop and went to try to burn all kind of pine trees, and the result is a stone. Absolutely.
So this is the result of the water glass
plus
mixed with wood ash,
and that's it.
And you basically, did you create the water glass
by etching?
By etching the granite?
No, I was lazy. I bought it in a liquid form because it's much more easier and much more abundant. So to cast these stones, I would have etched I don't know how much granite. So no, it's a game stopper for me to burn, to etch so much granite, to have so much water glass to play with it. So.
But are you planning on trying to create from
I would
scratch?
like to create the whole circle. Absolutely. I have water glass from etching granite, but it's just a small amount, because I'm etching this small piece of granite, and you will have a few grams of water glass with one etching round in this grill chimney, so it's minimal.
Mm-hmm.
but you can buy it in the hardware store in quantities and do it.
So your theory that they use some kind of a mold and they made these precise statues with this technique, with the water glass, using some ash.
Yeah.
And
as you can
putting
see,
it in a mold.
the color is different depending on the ash, and the qualities are different. And there is a strange pine tree called stone pine, and it's in the Mediterranean. And I never tried. I didn't have stone pine ash, so I didn't have the possibility to try it. But I think if something is the right ingredient for a stone, it must be the stone pine, because it's a local pine and because it has this strange name that it's a stone pine. To answer your question, casting okay, so casting a vase can be tricky because...
No, I wasn't talking about the vases yet. I was talking about the statues.
Okay, statues, the same. Depending on the wood ash, the chemical reaction can be so fast that you don't have time to make corrections. You don't have to remove the bubbles because it's that fast. For example, the Norway spruce, I think it is one, hardens so fast that I have a massage gun to use vibration to remove the bubbles. And in one occasion, I left the massage gun in another room, cast the guy, and I just realized the massage gun in the other room. I rushed there and back, but it was too late. it was so hard that the bubbles didn't come out. So, depending on the wood ash, you can have a very fast or a slow reaction, and this is a definitive difference. So, when you cast a bigger stone, like a wall, a rock in the wall, I don't think you need a mold, because it hardens so fast. You don't need it. If you watch closely the stones in Peru, you can see that they use some kind of wooden boards just to keep the material for a few minutes and remove the boards, and that's it. No mold.
In Peru, you think they did the same with those polygonal masonry?
I very much think so, because of the several signs and visual proof that those stones were not carved. I have a bunch of pictures showing a lot of strange things in Peru, which can be easily explained if the stones were cast, but it's out of this world. If it's carved. Did you know that there are stones that has stones inside? So the same erosion you said happened in Egypt could happen with this one if it's a bad mix. And it turns out that the stone has a stone inside because they just poured around this material. So they tried to spare the material, so they started with big rocks, natural rocks, and just played around with this material. And there are stones where you can clearly see it's up on the surface now because of some problems with the mixing, and you can see this phenomenon, the stone in the stone. And this is just one example.
But if you go back to the statues in Egypt, the first thing which is bugging me, that how would you recreate the granite texture?
All right. After the etching, you have two things: water glass and the original granite grains. And in this cube, I used a filler. It's gravel. So it's much weight. it has much more weight than these guys because it has a filler. It's not just water glass plus wood ash, but water glass plus wood ash plus gravel. And you can use these original billion years old granite grains as a filler to put it back. So this texture can easily be reached by reusing the grains you ended up when finished the etching. Why not?
But after that, they need the polishing because those grains
yeah. Of course. I'd like to polish this one, for example, with gravel in it.
Have you ever polished one?
No. This is a fresh idea. I'm learning this stuff, not a chemist, not a mason. I'm just an IT guy. So this is a fresh idea. I need some of these to get polished. So the statues.
Yeah.
So you can put back the grains, no problem. The problem is that this color, this is whatever you do, if you use wood ash, it will be a grayish color or black. This one is a outlier, but most of them are just gray. How can you create a red stone? And if you go back to the
not just red, but granite-like.
Okay, you put the grains in it, and it's granite-like. So you need to find a reddish binder and put the grains back. And I told you the grains are red. You fixated on the surface of my etching. It's grayish, but the actual grains are red, which I removed with the toothbrush. It's red. Mm-hmm. So you need a red-ish binder and put the original grains into this binder, and you have the artificial granite.
How do you find the binder?
Now the binder, I think it's geopolymer again, but the modern style geopolymer from the past. It's very interesting. So the modern geopolymer is created with water glass plus metakaolin, which is just burnt kaolinite, which is just burnt clay. It's an oversimplification, but it's burnt clay. Water glass plus burnt clay will give you a geopolymer. And then I started
That's how they do it today.
That's how they do it today. And I started to investigate whether kaolinite is available in Egypt at all, because if they have kaolinite in Egypt, they could burn it. Why not? They burnt everything. Why not? And they could create metakaolin, modern day metakaolin, by burning the kaolinite, and they end up with the modern geopolymer, reddish color, and put the original granite grains in it, and you are ready. It's the artificial red granite. And guess what? There is a place in Egypt where you can find kaolinite on the surface.
Next to the quarries.
Really, yeah. It's in Aswan.
And this is supposed to be giving this rose granite color to the
I hope I found an Egyptian web page showing this metakaolin, and I tried to ask a sample, but they didn't answer. So I don't know, but if we check it on the web, you will find that page that they are selling this metakaolin, and if I remember well, it's pink. It's pink. Mm-hmm. So you will end up with a pink binder, and you put the original granite grains in it, and ta-da.
And what about the veins? When you can see the veins, the
I
crystal veins.
I created veins, which I didn't bring it. One of them contains sugar. This one. It's not a vein yet, but something strange happened. It had color differences in the stone. You see? Mm-hmm. Can you see them? And I guess you can have veins in the mixture, either deliberately or by mistake. Because the original veins are there as a mixing error. It's a mixing error. But we can make a mixing error as well. Not only nature creates mixing error.
Have you compared the mechanical properties of stone like this? So I'm just curious if it will be the same hard to carve or something like normal granite.
Okay, I admit I didn't close the circle yet, so I didn't create artificial granite. That's why I didn't try it. I have this amount of reddish red granite grains waiting for me to create a reddish binder and put it together and create.
Because if this stone is kind of the same, having the same mechanical properties like the stone in Peru.
It's a Peruvian stone.
Then it can kind of explain how they would be able to do that. But what I was missing from your website, that how can this could look like those statues in Egypt?
This way, using the metakaolin way, and I admit I didn't get any metakaolin from Egypt, and I bought 2 big bags of metakaolin in Hungary, and they are just dead. They do not do the chemical reaction I need, so I need to import some metakaolin from the United States or something, because at the moment I have only dead metakaolin. So I created so much experiences and all failed with modern day metakaolin. It's a modern day geopolymer. I lost my face that modern day geopolymer even exists, because I can easily create Inca stone and I'm unable to create a modern geopolymer. That's crazy. How is it possible? So I'm waiting.
So what's your general overview? They made the scoop marks as we discussed, but is everything cast or is everything molded in Egypt?
No, I don't think so, mainly because the long history of Egypt. So if you have a civilization that collapses several times, there are these intermediate periods in Egypt, and people forget everything, and the civilization reboots and starts to create the same thing that they see that their ancestors could do, but they don't know the technology. They will do it the hard way. So I don't think everything is cast. I think that there was a civilization who knew the secret, but so many civilization and kingdom collapses happened in Egypt that they easily forgot the formula, and after that they did it by chiseling, because there was no other way. I just found out that how Hungarians forgot the Natron. I posted it on X. It's very fascinating, because not only those lakes, but around Szeged, Szikesek, and those.
That word's speaking, yeah.
Yeah. And Orosházi üveggyár. The glass factory was built on a Natron source, which is, I don't know the lake, no name of the lake. That is Salt Lake, 7 kilometers from the glass factory, and they don't use the Salt Lake anymore, and they don't use it for 100 years now, and because it's more than 100 years that they don't use the Natron, the local Natron, everybody forget it. So, is it possible to forget it in one generation? Yeah. If nobody does this, we will forget it. So this is the long answer, that everything is cast. No.
What do you think about the casing stones of the pyramids?
Oh, that's limestone.
Which is kind of shaved off with an abrasive tool.
Uh-huh.
It's visible on the Menkaure pyramid. Yeah.
Or a string.
Or a string.
when it was.
The problem with the string.
Okay, on the Macquarie, it's not limestone. It's kind of it's called granite. I don't think it's granite, but officially it's granite.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
Artificial stone.
You think it's a geopolymer?
Could be, because it's very easy to cut it only with a string. You don't need anything. You don't need heavy machinery to cut it while it's soft.
I have a small fraction of that granite part. I just wanted to show you that I have seen the crystal inclusions in that stone.
Right, and
so the crystal, kind of the crystal structure, you can see the crystal structure, and that's why it's. I don't think that it could be a geopolymer, but maybe if you see the crystal itself. So this looks like, to me, this is from the same casing stones.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's a crystallized and like granite.
I hope my artificial granite will look like this, because the grains are the same, and you just switch the quartz binder to an aluminum silicate binder, and that's it. And you will look at the same grains like this. Oh, beautiful grains. What's the glue? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And if you can see the rectangular crystals, you think you can reproduce it with this technique?
How large is this piece?
It's like this one.
I'm not a geologist, so I don't know, but I have big hopes that it can be recreated. As I told you, just glue it with a different glue. It's a glued material. It's a composite material.
But why did they use these rose granite grains? Why that very distant granite grains from Aswan?
It's easy
for doing this geopolymer.
Because they needed I don't really understand why are you asking this. If they find a way to recreate granite, then they did it. Why not? You deliver the water glass to the site, the casting site, and you deliver the grains to have the same look and feel. Why not?
I mean, if the properties, the mechanical properties remain the same, so if it will be the same hard stone, the same rigid block, like when it's quarried.
Why don't you carve it and deliver the huge stone? This is the question.
No. Obviously, delivering the geopolymer is easier because you can deliver it on bags or something like that, on a boat, easier, and with smaller portions. But I don't know if it's representing the same mechanical properties, so it's the same hardness, same rigid. And if it's not representing that, why would they make a weaker stone from a very far away stone?
Okay, if we check what modern day geopolymers can do, it can do the Mach scale 7 or 8 easily.
Really?
So, yeah, it's very hard. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about the Vases? The high precision pre-dynastic Vases? We don't have much time.
I'm not a big believer of ancient high technology and ancient.
I mean, this is high technology. I think this is high technology.
I think you can just okay, but you can,
because this is very high level chemistry. If you think about how did they get this knowledge?
You don't have to know what's happening. You can.
You don't get this by just trying, I think.
I think you can. Actually, I have an article about it. How can you inadvertently
discover this technique?
Bump into this, yeah. Because I was thinking about this. How humanity invented the wine. Easy. You just forget some grapes in a bowl and you turn back 3 weeks later and it's a wine. it's a bad quality but wine. It's an alcoholic drink. And I was thinking how to accidentally invent this kind of stone. And I think I find a way to accidentally invent this one. But we have to go back to menhirs.
Asterix, Obelix. Okay. If you think about the ingredients and what happens in a fire, it's just a big fire. Go back to the Ice Age. You are cold and your family members are cold. You light a big fire, this one, this big, and let it burn. And then something happens and you have to put out the fire and
put some dirt on it.
Yeah, exactly. You read my article. No, yeah,
I did.
Okay, then I don't have to go through all of this, but at the end of the day, all the ingredients of a stone will be in the fire pit.
This kind of stone. Yeah.
This kind of stone. Yeah. I'm not telling that you don't need sophistication to reach the level of modern day geopolymers. Of course. But for this, you can be a caveman for sure. This is a short version of the story. Back to the vases. So I just cannot think about ancient high technology. My mind cannot.
This word is, I think, overused a little bit, because what is high technology? Some people are talking about UFOs, other people are talking about lathe and I don't know how many X's, CNC machines and this stuff. But I don't think we have to think with our modern heads or with the modern people minds. But in my opinion, this is kind of if we just look at the vases, in my opinion, the relativity of the different features of the body of the vase and the precision, how you can make it, I think we have no explanation for that currently.
Right, but there are magical things in nature which can create precision. For example, there are straight lines in nature. For example, at the top of the head of this guy, the level of the water is a straight line. If you just pour some concrete or
not micron level straight.
The top of the water, I think it.
No. The top of the vase or top of this one. It's not
this one, not this one.
It's not
but
the same like you would find on those vases. Have you seen the video where they are analyzing the data which came back from the structured light scan?
It's a year. It was a year ago. I think I've seen it.
Because that was just insane. I don't think it could be happen just accidentally.
No, they worked for it. But what I'm telling you is that our mind is contaminated with modern day voodoo stuff like lasers and high precision.
I see.
So if you could forget all the knowledge we know and think with natural things like rotation and flotation, and I don't know, because I didn't try to create one of these, but I think there is a way to find the natural processes of creating that precision. So, for example, the screen of your phone has a flat surface and it's incredibly precious, the screen, phone screen. But with a floated liquid stone material, I think you can reach that level.
You can create flatness. That's one point. Yes, I agree on that. You can rub two stones on each other and you can create it. But the vases are not incredible only because of the flatness of different features, etc.
Yeah, I know.
But how perpendicular these features compared to each other. And if you model a cylinder, because it's oval shaped, so you cannot really describe it easily. So if you model a cylinder in the middle and center it, how the entire vase and the different sections of the vase body are centered, that's insane. That's something you cannot get from pottery tools or something like that. A turntable, an easy turntable. That's something which either we didn't find yet, or I don't know. It's just we cannot really explain with our modern understanding of the ancient people. With our current understanding of those people.
That's true.
We cannot explain that.
Yeah,
With the chisels and these stuff, it's just insane.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know that.
But do you think they were cast? Or
if I were me,
you are you.
I'd definitely give it a try. Yeah.
I would love to see that, because I think it's ongoing process that someone will try to recreate that ways or some of those shapes and features out of granite with modern machinery, and we will see what difficulties we will get.
The handles.
Yeah, it's weird, which needs more explanation, and that's why I would love to scan more museum pieces.
Can we go back to my web page? Because there is the impossible ashtray on some of the pages. These are castings, in my opinion, and this is the impossible.
This bowl is also casted?
Yes. I tried it. I tried to create it, and the main problem was my dead metacolins,
But you have to make the cast that precise.
Yes, sure. Postpone the problem.
That's giving or bringing up another question. Okay, if they cast, I mean, you cannot see if it's cast. For example, if the vase was cast, you have two pieces. You cannot see the alignment of these two pieces of the cast. You cannot see it on the vase. It's perfectly.
You don't have. I don't think you need two pieces. So if you use a wax mold, you don't have to cut it. You just heat it, and it will, and you pour it out. So I think this was a good example of a modern day thinking that we need two parts, and we'll have these. No, I don't think so. We need to step back and look the problem with a fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah, probably. But I think we need more research on this area, and that's why I liked how you are actually researching this area, because it is very valuable, and I think even if I'm not agreeing with every part of it, but I think it's very important to move this scientific / archaeological work forward, because we need to understand somehow these stuff, in my opinion. So I'm glad that you accepted the invitation, and I'm happy that we could discuss and you could a little bit explain to my audience your work, and also I'm glad that we could sit down and discuss these things. Can I keep one of these sections, because they are just I like these.
And if you would like to test if it's a real stone, grab two and boil one of them for 20 minutes, and if it disappears, then it's not a stone.
Okay.
But these are stones.
Thank you, Marcell.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to the next experiments, and please keep me updated regarding these.
Okay.
Maybe we should sit down again when you have the whole cycle and the granite-like structure, because I'm very interested in this.
I have great plans and great hopes, and time to do it. I never give up.
Thank you.
Thank you.